Yun, kamusta mga kameta? How are you? I hope you guys are keeping safe. Unang-una po, nakikiramay tayo dun sa mga kababayan natin who were, most adversely affected. May mga news po tayo coming from uh, certain parts of the country na may mga kababayan tayo na talaga were very severely affected. So, our condolences to the families of yung mga iba dyan whose loved ones were the victims of this latest natural calamity. So si Pangulong Marcos Jr. kanina po nagbigay ng statements ukol sa issue na yan, especially dun sa uh, high numbers of casualties sa BARM region. Sabi ni Pangulong Marcos, it will be important for us to look back kung bakit hindi natin naagapan ito. Bakit hindi natin sila na-evacuate? Bakit ganyan ang casualty napakataas? So, the President has expressed his concerns about the situation in certain parts of the country where, unfortunately, we have dozens of people who were who paid the ultimate price pagdating dito. So, close to 100 individuals po ang apektuhan. Sabi ng Maguindanao Governor by Mariam Sanki, mga dato, 309 out of 500 barangays sa Maguindanao are hit by Paeng. May 7 impassable roads and bridges daw. Amin pong tinitignan kung paano po natin may ipapaabot doon ang tulong, no? So there are many areas po in certain parts of the country na sobrang adversely affected. So I hope the help from the government will come. I hope there'll be better preparation para we can avoid unnecessary sufferings and avoid casualties among sa ating mga kabayan. No less than the President has also expressed his deep concern about it. BARM Chief Minister Ahud Ibrahim, sinabi niya talaga kailangan ng area nila ng portable water. Sabi naman ni President Marcos, ang una namin ipapadala bottled water muna, but this is not going to be sufficient, so we'll be following it up with purifier systems. No? So mukhang medyo grabe ang effect ito in Maguindanao, in certain parts of Mindanao, as Typhoon Paeng moves upwards. No? Dito sa trajectory na kita natin sa Paeng, mga kaibigan, mga kababayan natin, so this is gonna hit Manila very soon. I mean, more or less, andun tayo sa range, no? And mukhang update na tayo sa, ang taas eh, signal number 3 na tayo eh. I mean, I was not expecting it to be that high, no? Sabi ko siguro mo signal number 2 or something. So kanina umaga, binabantayan yung sa Marikina po, yung water levels, dahil syempre ibang mga kababayan natin, especially dito sa Metro Manila areas, they are in vulnerable areas. So umabot kaninang 10 a.m. to, umabot sa 14.2 meters po yung Marikina River, yung level ng water. Pero kung lumagpas na ito sa 15 meters, no? Potentially it could, no, under signal number 3 today until tomorrow, then medyo delicate. So dun sa ating mga kameta, mga supporters natin, mga kaibigan natin, kababayan natin sa Marikina area, sa mga others, please still stay safe. Our prayers with you. So nakita natin na meron na tayong updates na level 3 na talaga magiging signal number 3 dito. Especially after 8 p.m. maging malakas ito. Kumala natin to mga kameta, kung saan expectation natin na after 8 p.m. medyo maging malakas yung effect. So ito po yung areas na under signal number 3 or severe tropical storm, no? Ito po yung projection. So Metro Manila, Laguna, Batangas, Cavite, Rizal, kasama din dyan yung Camarines Norte, western portion of Camarines Sur, Marinduque, Quezon, including Polillo Islands, no? So talagang nationwide na maging effect nitong Paeng na to. Hindi lang from Mindanao, where unfortunately we had a lot of casualties and a lot of people very severely affected. So talagang kailangan ng tulong ng gobyerno dito. Let's pray and hope na there will be help, not only from the government, but also from the private sector. Of course, mga kameta, if you could help in any humble way, please go ahead. So kahapon, sabi natin, ito yung maging situation dito sa Manila. Diba? Ito yung projection nila. So makikita mo, medyo red na red talaga yung magiging areas na Manila, Batangas, Cavite area. So we're expecting later tonight talagang mafe-feel itong Paeng dito sa Metro Manila. Obviously guys, hindi tayo weather expert etc. I'm just doing this in the interest of public education and information base dun sa mga information that is coming in from real experts, people who really know what they're talking about, yung mga climate scientists, yung mga mga weather experts. So sinishare lang po natin dito, no, for the sake of public information, para lang guys you don't take this lightly, no. So please, ingat lang kayo. So, nakikita natin na may mga updates tayo dyan from Imos, Cavite. Mukhang may brown out na sila. It's possible na certain parts of Manila also will experience similar brownouts, etc. Kaya sabi ko, gawin na natin to bagong talagang tumama itong Paeng dito sa Metro Manila habang may electricity tayo and all, and may connection po tayo. So, kaya please stay strong and stay safe, and prayers, and please which optimal interventions na kailangan para masupwan natin talaga yung mga worst effect ng mga ganitong natural disasters. Now, the reality guys, and this is what I really want to talk about today, because Typhoon Paeng, recently may report na lumabas, no, kung saan the Philippines is actually number 1 in the world in terms of disaster risk index, no? Grabe, nakakabahala yan. So, throughout the years, actually, tingnan natin ng Pilipinas, consistently nandun tayo sa mga top countries in terms of vulnerability to natural disaster and climate change related crisis, no? So, ito, ang Pilipinas, number 1 na po dun sa list of global risk hotspots based on the latest World Risk Index report German-based Bundesentwicklung AV at Buch World. And the Philippines was also natural events which include kasama dyan storms, flooding, etc. Yung susunod po sa Pilipinas is India with an index score of 42.31. So medyo malayo 46 na yung sa Philippines. And then Indonesia came third with 41.6. And then Colombia sa Latin America, fourth at 38.37. Followed by Myanmar, Mexico, Mozambique, China, Bangladesh, and Pakistan. Ito po yung top 10 most vulnerable countries. Ito yung mga hotspots talaga ng climate change related, disaster related events, no? So yung study na po yan, yung pag-aaral na yan, tinitingnan niya 193 countries na prone sa disasters using an updated index which now uses 100 indicators kumpara sa 77 na ginamit nila in previous surveys. Ayon sa institute na yan, IFHV sa University of Bochum, sa Bochum in Ruhr University in Germany, ayon sa kay Daniel Vela, yung research associate nila sa IFHV, in particular the inclusion of the indicators on how populations have been affected by disasters and conflicts in the past 5 years, as well as on refugees, displaced person, asylum seekers in the new index. So ang dami nilang sinama dito at gumamit din sila ng mga new technologies to be able to track, no, yung vulnerability of different countries, no. So nakita natin since President Marcos came into power, nakailan na po tayo. Meron tayo yung sa Abra na lindol na nangyari po, yung Super Typhoon Carding naman earlier this year. So this is like third or fourth major natural event, no, that is hitting the Philippines. And tignan natin yung response ng government. In fairness naman kay Erwin Tulfo at saka Marcos administration, I think the response to the previous challenges were relatively good, and commendations should go to those officials who did their part. Ang reality po talaga dito is for the foreseeable future, guys, if not forever, no, the Philippines will be studied by the Bochum Ruhr University based research institute sa Alemania, sa Germany, no. So please guys, don't take this lightly. We see that these kinds of rankings are not out of nowhere. We saw earlier, for instance, dun sa HSBC, guys, HSBC rankings of climate change vulnerability, number pag nangyayari, no, ng Germany-based institute, yung IFHV, or mga challenge and disasters na ganito, no? So, number one tab is Entwicklung, Hilft, IFHV. Ito ay sa Ruhr University in Bochum in Germany. And then dito sa HSBC naman, itong International Bank, meron din silang report. Ang Philippines naman po ay nasa top 10. In fact, number 3 in the world. This report was few years ago. So siguro if they'll make an update, the Philippines will even move upwards. So maybe number 2 or number 1. So nakita din natin na similarly dun sa Bochum-based Institute's report from Germany, yung HSBC naman ang pinapakita na India rin at saka a number of Latin American countries and Indonesia are also among the more vulnerable countries, no? So dito naman sa report, actually, not Indonesia ang pasok dito, pero andito yung India, Oman, Sri Lanka, Colombia, Mexico, Kenya, and South Africa, no? May mga vulnerable din na yung least vulnerable naman guys ay yung mga countries katulad ng Finland, Sweden, Norway, Estonia, and New Zealand. So yung mga naghahanap ng pinaka-safe places na pupuntahan, ito pa yung mga bansa na sinabi natin. Estonia, of course, alam niyo mga kameta, nag-live tayo from Estonia last month nung nandun ako sa Estonia to cover the Ukraine issue and nagbumisita tayo sa isang NATO base malapit sa border sa Russia. Beautiful country, Estonia. Very impressed by it. It looks like they're also among the least vulnerable to climate change. Kasama din dyan yung New Zealand, Sweden, Norway, Finland. So Nordic countries, Northern European countries, and then pinaka-South New Zealand seem to be really the most resilient countries when it comes to climate change based on this HSBC study, no? So we see consistently, no? So another study naman in 2019 naman, it showed na Philippines was number 1 sa hazard naman score. So we see consistently that practically all major indices show that the Philippines is really, really vulnerable. So let me bring out this one naman, itong latest report na ito. Itong isa pang report na. So this is the 2019 report naman, guys. Ito yung base sa Informed Global Risk Index. And so base sa calculation na yan, Philippines again is number 1, followed by Japan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, China, Indonesia, India, Vietnam, and Pakistan, no? So again, this assesses yung vulnerability sa extreme weather conditions, no? So again, if you look at it, I showed you at least 3 different indices by different institutes from all around the world. The Philippines is top 3, number 1, right? So this is really, really worrying, guys, no? So that means we have no room for bara-bara politics. You have no room for incompetent governance. We have no room for complacency. We have no room for socially hazardous urban planning. We have no room for yung mga, alam na, yung mga reckless city planning, urban planning. So we really need to have a long-term approach dito sa problema ng Philippine vulnerability, because if number 1, number 3 tayo in all of these top indices in the recent years, then our response should be also world-class level. Now, as you can see, for instance, dito, Japan is number 2, and you also see China, for instance, there in the list, or Vietnam. But we know that these countries, especially Japan, they have a very, very effective approach dito sa climate change proofing, no? Or earthquake proofing, or all sorts of different natural disasters and hazards. So Japan rin very vulnerable to extreme natural disasters among others, but at least yung kanilang estado, yung kanilang mga citizens, they have been prepared for these things. And we saw that preparation during the triple disaster na nangyari ng 2011 when nung napektuhan yung Fukushima, nagkaroon ng tsunami, nagkaroon ng lindo. So that was really, really extreme. And Japan was able to come out of that, no, and get through that, perhaps in the best way possible, given the kind of vulnerabilities they had. So perhaps there are lessons from Japan that we can learn to make sure that, well, hindi natin mabago. Talagang dito na tayo. We're geographically here because of our location, because of our topography, because of our geography. We are very vulnerable talaga. Number 1 or number 3. Nakikita natin sa mga released. Always top 10 tayo, top 5 tayo ang Pilipinas dito sa vulnerability sa extreme weather conditions. So, for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 years, guys, dapat talaga meron tayong long-term planning. So, I really, really hope that folks, as much as I want, yes, you have to keep safe and strong, and hopefully we get through this, Paeng, in the best way possible. At least here in Luzon, unfortunately, Mindanao, we had really high casualties and levels and tragedies. But ang point ko dito, guys, is, and my point dito is, we have to think long term. And when you elect your leaders, or when we have elected leaders, please, please, guys, let's put the necessary pressure on them to have more than just short term performative papogi response, but we really want them to have long term structural responses para yung Pilipinas talaga ay hindi ganun, para yung Pilipinas ay hindi vulnerable, because we can avoid a lot of tragedy and disasters, etc., if we do the preparations. All the studies are showing the Philippines has to be prepared for that. So it's just a matter of taking that seriously and working accordingly. All right? So maraming salamat mga kameta. I just wanted to put things into a bigger picture, into a bigger perspective para ma-appreciate natin what kind of leadership we need and why hindi tayo pwede umasa lang sa stopgap measures or mga, performative measures or papogi lang, or we just think about, we take it one disaster at a time. I mean, yes, each of them are going to be very difficult to deal with, and each success deserve its commendation, but we really have to go long term, no? Para talagang may sagot tayo dito ng robust and effective enough. All right. Okay, I'll keep it there. So, thank you so much again sa mga ating mga kameta. Kung may mga tanong kayo or something, don't worry, I'll post dito sa baba. I'm gonna post sa baba dito yung mga indices para you can see the details for yourself, para you can appreciate what I'm talking about. Hindi naman ito yung basta-basta lang, talagang pinag-aralan ng mabuti ito. So as much as we have to prepare for Paeng, and we're dealing with Paeng, we have to prepare for really years and decades of very difficult climate and natural cycle-related events. No? Yun lang sinasabi natin dito, guys. No? Kaya please lang, kailangan talaga natin ng long-term thinking. As I said, Japan and number of other countries, increasingly China and Vietnam, are also showing that you may be vulnerable because of your geography, your location, topography. But if you have an effective government, if you have competent governance, there are ways to deal with it accordingly. Yun lang. Alright, maraming salamat sa ating mga kababayan. Please stay safe. Stay safe. Wala na, nabulo na tayo. Stay safe and take care. Alright, talk to you guys soon. Hopefully by Monday, the situation is much better. So tomorrow, of course, is Sabbath day. I hope there'll be I hope you guys will keep safe and strong, and then mag-update tayo ulit sa Monday about the situation. And hopefully there'll be also updates in terms of ano yung maging response ng government pagdating dito sa vulnerability of the Philippines to natural disasters. We always talk about it, but it's very important to see that people are taking it seriously. Right? It's important to see na may plano talagang gobyerno over the long run, because a lot of tragedies can be avoided. Unnecessary suffering can be avoided with preparation, right? With making sure na hindi tayo complacent, with making sure that we get the best practices. We learn from best practices from all around the world, no? Whether from Japan, whether from New Zealand, whether from Estonia, whether from Sweden, whether from some of our poorer neighbors or poor neighbors or fellow, peers, our peers in the region, no? Some of them are doing better than others, right? So maybe we can get best practices, and at the same time, tignan din natin ano yung pagkakulang ng mga dating administration, at ayusin natin yan. At siguraduhin natin na hindi natin ulitin yan. So again, my best wishes to the government. Ako naman, whoever is in the government, I hope the best for them, because I want the government to succeed. Because if the government doesn't succeed, then kawawa tayo. Diba? Ito na, tapos na elections. We are here to make sure the government is doing its job, and we're also here to support the government when it's doing its job. Yun lang naman sinasabi natin. So maraming salamat, muchas gracias. And hopefully I'll talk to you guys after Sabbath day. So tomorrow, hopefully, guys, we will be recovering from this difficult conditions, and of course, spend time with family and loved ones, have your spiritual moment para refresh naman tayo. And at the same time, please go ahead and there are avenues and platforms for us to send support, show support dun sa ating mga kababayan na apektuhan, especially mga kababayan natin in Maguindanao and Barm region in Mindanao were very severely affected. Then please go ahead and show your support and love. All right? After all, lahat tayo Pilipino, lahat tayo tao, we should show that support and love, no? Sabi nga ni Haj Murad na bottled water ang kailangan. So very basic yung level ng problems dito, but I'm sure this is going to be a long-term challenge for a lot of communities as we deal with more and more extreme weather conditions. Maraming salamat. Thank you very much, guys. Talk to you soon. Salamat, guys. Please take care. Take care. All right. Maraming salamat. God bless. Take care. And talk to you soon. God willing.